When I asked Mayor-elect Bob Filner how he intends to fulfill his campaign promise for a more transparent government, he told me about his new plan to create a department dedicated to open government, to be headed up by a longtime advocate for government transparency, former San Diego City Council member Donna Frye. Donna, welcome to Evening Edition.
Thank you.
How will this new department actually create transparency in the government?
Well, the first thing is that we have, in the Filner administration, we have someone that's committed to being accessible to the public. And that is a big change, in my opinion. Somebody that actually will meet with folks in the neighborhoods, will actually, get out, have meetings that will be accessible for people that have to work all the time, and they'll be able to come down to City Hall. But I think that one of the other most important things is that there is a recognition of the importance of it by creating a department. In other words, this is something that is being taken very seriously.
So right out the chute, he's saying this is a priority for me, and here's what we're doing.
And that I have never seen done before in the history of our city.
Okay. A lot of people would ask, why do we even need to have a separate department for this? What happened to your Government Efficiency and Openness Committee that was back in 2003, 2004?
Well, that is a council. First of all, that's a city council committee, and that was done under the old form of governance when we had a city manager form of governance, a city manager, city council form of governance. So the council at that point could direct the city manager to do certain things. Things have changed now that we have a strong mayor form of governments. The council can do the legislating. But what happened to that committee is it was ended and it was ultimately folded into the Rules Committee.
So just to be clear, because of the strong mayor, you feel we actually do need to have a specific department for this?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The council is the legislative body. The mayor is now the person who is supposed to be accountable to the public. In order to be accountable to the public, you need to make sure that the public is getting the information they need and that they're getting it in a timely manner, they're getting their questions responded to. If the media is, asking for records, or if there's Brown Act issues, that those issues are being addressed and people are taking it seriously.
What's your role? What do you plan, as far as I should say? Do you know yet?
Well, they asked me to head up the department, but my role is to listen to what we're hearing from the public, the things that haven't happened in the past. And I'll give you an example just from personal experience. One of the biggest complaints for the legislative branch of government, the city council, is getting documents in a timely manner. These are issues that they have to vote on. And if the city council members don't get them in a timely manner, neither does the public. And so it's very difficult for people to participate in the decision-making process if the documents that the mayor's office is supposed to be providing and the documents from the departments are not forthcoming in a timely manner. I remember sitting down at council sometimes and I'd have piles of documents sitting in front of me on issues that I was supposed to vote on that day. That is not how you do good, sound decision-making, and that is not open government.
Let me play devil's advocate here for a minute. Some would say that behind-the-scenes conversation actually helped get projects done faster. For instance, the downtown library funding or Erwin Jacobs' involvement in the Plaza de Panama project. What would you say to that? Are there times that some backroom conversations might help?
No, and I don't know that I would characterize them necessarily as backroom conversations. I think it's important to meet with everybody. And I think that's the difference with the Filner administration, is that Bob is committed to meeting with everybody and not having this perception out there, whether it's real or not, that there's only certain people that the mayor will meet with. And I think that's the difference.
All right. How is this government, how would you like to see, anyway, this department actually help everyday citizens of San Diego, maybe not business owners? How is having access to public information going to help them?
Well, one of the ways it helps is, like, say, for example, someone calls with a question and they don't know exactly where they need to go to get that information. One of the simplest things you could do is post a list of frequently asked questions online. In other words, making information easy to obtain, and that includes businesses, that includes anybody that needs that information. Trying to make sure that it's accessible, that it's understandable, and it's readily available.
All right. How much is this going to cost, and where is the money supposed to come from?
Well, that would be an issue that would be handled by the mayor's chief of staff as far as setting up the budgets, and I am not going to presume to discuss that. It's only been one day after the election, and obviously that is up to our mayor-elect and his chief of staff. But I will tell you that they are taking this very seriously, and that the fact that Bob has come out and said this is a priority, I'm sure that the budgeting will be done within the mayor's budget.
And that mayor's budget last year was about $5.8 million.
Right, and it might have been a little higher. I don't know. It depends how they do the budgeting. Not all of the mayoral budget is necessarily shown within the mayoral budget.
Any expectation of when this might start? I know, like you said, it's only a couple days after the election, but.
Well, as soon as we're able to get it started. I mean, Bob, obviously won't be sworn into office till December 3rd, and so as soon thereafter as we can get it started, it will be started.
All right. I'm sure you will keep us updated on this. Donna Frye, thanks so much for talking with us.
Thank you so much.